Hey, what's up? Bungie just rolled out Patch Marathon, and there's a decent chunk of housekeeping and quality of life work packed into this one that you'll want to know about before you jump back into Tau Ceti. The release itself popped up on March 10th, 2026, and the immediate focus here is straightforward. Stability and crash fixes, plus some server and loading improvements that should make matches feel less janky for a lot of players. Um, you might have noticed a few rough edges since launch. The team has been patching through those reports, and this update is clearly targeted at plugging the most disruptive holes first. The most visible fixes are the ones you'll appreciate right away. Multiple crash-causing bugs were addressed so the game should boot and stay up more reliably. Loading-related problems that caused hangs or very long load times were fixed, and online connection improvements were implemented to smooth matchmaking and in-session play. All of that is the sort of maintenance that doesn't sound glamorous, but makes an immediate difference if you've been losing progress or dropping out of matches. Beyond the immediate stability work, Bungie has also teased what's coming in the next update, and those upcoming changes are aimed at gameplay flow and economy balance, rather than fresh maps or new weapons. For example, objective navigation markers will be more visible now that their visibility distance is being increased from 10 meters to 20 meters, which is helpful in frantic extraction scenarios where losing track of an objective can cost you a run. Map level tweaks are also on the way. The perimeter area will see more med cabinets and more munitions crates spawning, which should remove some of the early game scarcity that occasionally forces overly conservative play or tedious looting circuits. Speaking of ammo and loadouts, the developers highlighted that a few free sponsored kits are getting increased starting ammo. Specifically, Mida, Cyber Acme, and Arachne will grant players a bit more breathing room from the opening seconds of a match. That kind of change nudges the pacing without touching weapon damage or major balance numbers, so it feels like a developer-friendly way to respond to feedback about fights being too punishing when you run out of bullets early. One of the more talked about economic adjustments is the tweak to the $10 Lux bundle. That bundle will now give 1,120 Lux instead of 1,100. So 1,000 base plus a slightly larger bonus, and players who already bought the bundle before this change will receive compensation in the form of an extra 20 Lux per bundle purchased. That's the kind of small cosmetic economic correction that tends to mollify player concerns about perceived value, and Genetic explicitly acknowledged it as part of their near-term plan. If you're keeping score on the broader plan for Marathon, this fits into a pattern. The game launched with a season roadmap and a promise that post-launch updates, including seasonal content and free updates, will continue to evolve the experience. The studio's roadmap and communications have emphasized ongoing seasonal support and iterative changes driven by player feedback. So these patches are the first visible fruits of that process. For creators and players thinking about how this affects sessions and videos, the immediate takeaway is simple: less crashing, fewer loading headaches, and some quality of life improvements that will change how extraction loops feel week to week. Then, in the next patch, objective markers and extra spawns will slightly tilt things toward more engagement and less downtime. Players who complained about constantly running out of medical supplies or ammo should notice the difference. The economy adjustment is neat because it's small but meaningful. A 20 Lux compensation per prior $10 purchase is a tidy way to acknowledge early buyers and avoid lingering frustration about perceived value differences. There's also an implicit message here about the development philosophy. The team is prioritizing reliability and incremental fixes first, then moving on to thin-slice gameplay changes and economy tuning based on what players are reporting. If you've been experiencing frequent disconnects or crashes, this patch should alleviate some of the worst offenders and make for cleaner streams and fewer interrupted runs. If your gripe was about scarcity and the feel of fights, the announced changes for the next update look squarely targeted at that. Overall, the tone coming from both community reporting and the studio's preview is that the launch was the beginning of a longer roadmap, and the studio is reacting quickly to feedback, delivering hot fixes now and balancing adjustments over the coming updates. Whether you're grinding cosmetics or trying to find a rhythm in ranked style play, these are mostly positive fixes. Stability improvements reduce the pain of lost progress, map and loot tweaks improve pacing, and the Lux adjustment smooths over a small monetization friction point. Keep an eye on the patch notes channel for the next drop, since it looks like the team has a steady cadence planned, and these small, iterative changes are exactly how live service shooters evolve over their first few months.